And so how do you find the hottest wholesaling markets? And for the people that have actually done deals, if you look at all the deals you've done, they usually always hit this criteria. And it's kind of weird, but everywhere in the whole entire country, in the United States, it's like this. So we're going to find the hottest markets for wholesaling real estate right now. Really, you're going to row in the best river stream possible. And that's the point. We got the river right there. If you row against the stream, you can row as hard. You can be, oh, I'm working so hard, and you're getting nowhere. And you're like, oh, I'm just not rowing hard enough. And the honest truth is, you're probably just in the wrong boat. You just got to change the river you're in. And I see a lot of people struggle like this. They work so hard, and people that don't work too hard, but they're going with the stream, it makes it a lot easier. So what makes a good wholesaling market? I've personally found this, that there are just two key factors of why a market is good or not. Number one, it's a deals to wholesalers ratio. This is a weird concept. Me and Rick have patented a lot of things, but after looking at hundreds of thousands of people that sign up for our course, all these things, the ones that do deals and the ones that don't, I look at the markets and there is a special ratio of how many wholesaling deals are done in that market and how many wholesalers are working in that market. For example, I've always said this, the largest wholesaling market by the amount of deals, hands down, is Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas has more wholesaling deals than anything. But if you get into Houston, you're like, why don't I get all these deals? It's the third, I think it's the third or fourth biggest city in the entire country. And so there's a ton of wholesalers there. But you can scale it up really well. And there's other markets, kind of like, where Corey's at, where it's like, there's a ton of wholesaling deals, but there's not a lot of guys. And so his ratio is, let's say there's 10 deals in that market for the month, and there's only 2 wholesalers going after it. It's like 5 deals for every wholesaler. The problem with Houston, it's like 1 to 1. If there's 10,000 wholesalers, there's probably 10,000 deals. I'd rather be in Corey's market, and that's the secret. And so we got to find markets where there's multiple deals that every wholesaler can do. And if you're like us, we can kind of scoot a little better and be better with our acquisitions and do better. The next part is the teenage success factor. This is the best one I have found. We got some people that were teenagers that did wholesaling deals here, people that aren't, people older. But what I call the teenage success factor is every single day I get 5 or 6 DMs. Zach, got my first deal, thank you. And I see these teens, and I'm not making fun of Nathan or Evan, but like I see these young guys, right? And like they're like Evan or Nathan, like they just started. You guys know a lot about wholesaling, but like these people that just start, they're in this is where they grew up. And they slap some sticky notes and they get like 10 deals. And like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm like, what? And it's not because they're so good at wholesaling, they just ran up 100 grand. It's their market's so good. No other wholesaler's kind of working in there. Corey's kind of like that too. Like he wasn't a teenager, but like he was in such a good market. Even as a beginner, he did well. And he's probably cringes back looking bad, like all the deals he probably should have done. But he was probably really bad starting out, but his market was so good it overcame that. And I just find all these young teens who really don't know what they're doing, super nervous, they do deals. And I find these markets. So like a couple examples here. Columbus, Georgia. Columbus, Georgia has a lot of wholesaling deals. There's a lot of buyers. There's a great ratio of deals, and there's not a lot of saturation. And there are a ton of buyers in Columbus. Columbus has Fort Benning, I believe. It's one of the biggest military installations in the country, so there's always buyers. There's a great market there. It has a population of 197,000. The average home is 152 grand, and it's on that Alabama border too. So I found that is a good market. Now here's a bad market. Seattle, King County, right? There's a lot of buyers there, ton. Everyone wants to buy deals there. But there's a low amount of wholesaling deals. Why is that? I don't know, right? There's a ton of wholesalers there, but there's not a lot of crazy deals. Now there are people that do deals. I had someone on our podcast. She's making $100K a month in Seattle, but she's very, very good at what she does. And I think she's in her 20s, right? And then I see other wholesalers struggling there. That was a good wholesaler doing it. But for most people getting into Seattle, they don't do well. There's 2.2 million. There's so many buyers I should do a deal. The average home price is $840,000. That, for most wholesalers, is a bad market. So what happened? Why is the Columbus so much better than Seattle? Is it the population? Is it what? What is it? I found 2 key factors in the past 7 years, 5 years in virtual wholesaling, of what makes a market good or bad. Number 1, population. How many people live in the market? And the average home price. You can boil it down to anything else. That is what it currently is for any market if it's going to be good. Population. I have found With a high population, there's a high amount of cash buyers. People living there, people want to live. That's it. And cash buyers either come down to people that want to buy the house to rent it out, or they want to flip it. Those are what cash buyers want to do. There's land bankers and stuff, but most of them, they want to rent it out, or they just want to flip the house. And there's doctors, lawyers. They buy a house, they want to rent out real estate. There's a ton of buyers. Now, with a low population, as you guys have probably found out, there is a low amount of buyers. And so you can probably get deals, but they're hard to sell. Now, the sweet spot I've personally found, if a city has a population of above 50,000 people or 100,000 for the county, usually it's good. Now, there's people like Jason. There's exceptions to the rule, but you got to remember with Jason, like his county or like Columbus has millions of people around it, so he can feed some of those people too. So there are exceptions to the rule, but for most people, if there's not a lot of buyers, it's hard to sell the deal. And with median home price, right? The higher the price, the harder it is to get a discount. If I went to somebody that had a $3 million house and I try to get a 30% discount off their house, they're going to act like I'm crazy. If I go to somebody that has a $30,000 house and I try to get a 7% discount, they take it all day. Is it because they both don't like the 30% discount? No, it's how human beings work. Humans are really weird. They don't look at percentages, they look at prices. So if we've had this, we used to own real estate brokerage, and these people that sell their properties, these are $1 million houses on the water, right? And they go from 4.2 million to 4.1, 100,000. I can't do. I'm losing 100 grand. I can't do that. And it's less than it's almost 3-4% discount. And from someone to go from 300,000 to 290, I don't care. Okay, take it off 10 grand. Human beings are weird with that. It's the same percentage, but they can't get over that part. And it's harder when you're in a higher price market to get deals. But there is a trade-off. The lower the price, usually the lower the assignment fee. Now, we saw Markel on a $30,000 deal make 98 grand. So there are exceptions to the rule. But what I can tell you is, in our market here at Port St. Lucie, when we get a deal, we lock it up for $300, $350, we can make $80,000, $90,000 on a deal. Our average assignment fee is going to be $40,000, heck, $50,000. Probate's even higher because the ARV is really high. I can't do that in a market that has 100,000 ARV, or average median home price. So the lower the price on the property, usually the lower the assignment fee, but you can do more deals, so it kind of evens out. The sweet spot I found are median home prices between 75 to 300,000, and that's really where you're going to find good markets. I would say the max is 400,000. I've been pushing it hard at $500,000 for some markets, because our market's kind of at that point now. But really anything above that for residential real estate, this isn't for commercial or anything else, for residential houses, single family, that's what it is. And so my secret method to finding the best virtual wholesaling markets, right? I like to find people flexing in a certain city. And so as Rebecca said, where should I get a good market? I'm like, well, go to Facebook, find 4 or 5 kids that just got a deal this month. And with your skills, if you go in there, you can destroy them. And I like finding people flex. A lot of people like to flex on the internet now. They'll show their checks. Oh, buy my course. I had one guy on TikTok. He got 2 deals last month, and now he's selling a course. But he posted his HUDs to show he's legit. Okay, that's a market I didn't know about before. You can just go in there and do it. If he doesn't know anything, and I put my skills in it, it's insane. That's really pretty much it. You just really need 2 to 3 people that are doing good in a market, and you know it's good enough. If it's working for newbies, it'll work for you. You guys going through the free wholesaling course and do it, you'll do a lot better. Got a question?
What does flexing mean again, Zach?
Yeah. So it's kind of a younger term, but it's people really bragging on the internet. Look at me, I made $30,000. And they're looking for attention. Okay. Yeah, it's validation. But it's all ego.
Throw your ego out there, you make yourself vulnerable. It doesn't matter what it is. See, I have trouble with terminology.
But I'm telling you guys, you're going to have sellers that are 30 years old. They're going to start saying terms like that. We got to get used to it. But how do you find the best zip codes for wholesaling, right? Now, where the best? So once you determine your market, how do you find the best zips, the best areas, that 40% where there actually are? Just ask your buyers. They know. When I'm in a new market, I just ask a guy who's been buying for 16, 17, 18 years, what's the best places to buy? They say, oh, this area, because they're looking to buy it. That's where they want to buy it. And they will literally tell you the best areas. Now, they might not be the best areas for wholesaling, but they're the best areas for real estate investing. And for 18 years, they know. They know the hottest ones. And so ask your buyers. Ask your title companies. One thing title companies love is money. They like making more money. The more transactions they get, the better. So that's why you should use your title company. Hey, Mr. Title Company, can you give me a list of buyers? Oh, that's secret information. Okay. Well, can you give me a list of all the zip codes or the best zip codes that you've seen the most wholesale transactions? Yeah, sure. They'll give it to you because they want to beat out their competition, which is other title companies. And they want more transactions. And so they'll tell you, I mean, most title companies I've found, they'll say, oh, we do most wholesaling or transactions are done in this zip code or this zip code. They have the data. If you have a good wholesaling friendly title company that does hundreds of wholesaling transactions a year, they'll tell you where most of the zip codes are. And it's not that secret information, right? Find out where the rental properties are. I've always found great properties there. And just look up the data, right? And my super secret one here is just affordable working class housing. Old houses with low crime rates. And what I mean by this is if you go to a new city or whatever. So I had a cousin. She's approaching her 30s and she just got married and she's looking to buy her own property. She doesn't want to rent out anymore. She wants to buy a house. Here's the problem. She's in South Florida and it's really expensive there. And so, you know, she works a regular job with her husband now and they're looking to buy a new house. Here's the problem. They're not looking to buy a $900,000 mansion. And most people in their 20s and 30s looking to buy their first house, they're called starter homes. These are the best. They're willing to overlook a lot of things just to get a house, and they get the FHA loans and all that stuff. And these are great ones. This is where the working class people in a city or county live in, right? So all you have to do is look at where the teachers, bus drivers, sanitation workers, just regular working blue collar jobs, where they live. They don't live in high crime areas, right? If you work a regular job, so like let's say you manage a grocery store, you're not living in a mansion, but you're not living in the hood. You're living in a nice area that's probably cheaper, but it's not in a high crime rate area because you have your kids there, right? And that's the secret. That's where people are willing to overpay flippers. So the buyers for the flippers deals, they're willing to overpay. And usually when you don't have a lot of money, but you're in a nice area, you're not going to renovate your house. Your roof might be 15, 20 years old, and that's where you find the best one. So as you hear, this is a chart. This is from 2021, obviously, but it's probably one of the best ones I have found of just home prices by county. And so if you're looking to get in virtual wholesaling, you got to look here. And so like as you can see here, like Alaska, it looks good, the prices, but unfortunately, the population's too low. You can go here to Inland Empire. It's really high, but they're decent deals. You can go all over the country here, right? I mean, this is where we're at right here. A little higher, but the populations are good enough. Now, the problem is if you're in like South Georgia, not a big population, but good deals. But like, there's some sweet spots. Like, for example, right, where is it right here? Right here, this little coastline right here, Fayetteville, North Carolina with Fort Liberty, I think it's called now, right? It's a little higher than usual, but not over that price. But there are a ton of population, and there's a ton of wholesaling deals here. There's secret little niches across the United States that if you can identify, you can do really well. And so like, I don't like the bright like yellow, but like a little bit in that orange is kind of perfect, right? And so like, there's a good little belt here. So like, as you can see here, I'm going to call out Ace. I don't want to. He got mad at me when I said Richmond was the best market 2 years ago, but it's true. It was the reason why Richmond works so well is you can see here. This is Northern Virginia, too high, and like you go kind of south, not big population here, and there's like this little gap. And I know it's a little higher now, but like it's kind of some breathing room here with a big population. That's a secret market I found. It did well, and so these are the little niches you find in virtual wholesaling where. I hate to say it, when I talk about a market and then, on YouTube, 160,000, all of our subscribers see it, you don't want them all to bounce on the market. So there's markets I don't talk about that are really good. They're really secretive. Like Oklahoma right here, yellow, the little middle here, Tulsa, Oklahoma City. Those are good too. There's so many secret markets. I'll give you one more. There is, where's Walmart's? I forgot what city. No, it's Bensenville, right? Bensenville's like, all of Arkansas is okay, but like some markets like Bensenville, it's so hot right now. And you look at Arkansas, Little Rock, outside of there, like there's not many crazy ones. And so that's kind of the secret markets here. And then, you got Beaumont right here too, like outside of Houston. So many great little niched out markets that you probably don't know about.